Chapter 102, Bully to the Extreme. This chapter is updated by Novels.pl. Once again, Zhang Yuoquan's ability shocked Nixuan. He stayed stiff and didn't dare to say a word. A third-level genuine martial arm was made of a rare metal with a high degree of toughness. Yet, Zhang Yuoquan could easily break it with 2 fingers. With such ability, there is no doubt that he could pinch off Nixuan's neck. Zhang Yuoquan shifted his sight from Nixuan to the students of Square Commandery. He said, "Since everyone is here, let's go together. I can't wait to see how far all of you can go." Wang Lang, Xizu and other students of Square Commandery were shocked by Zhang Yuoquan's overbearingness and stepped back slightly. After a second, "Zhang Yuoquan, do you really think that we are not capable of catching you down?" After the shock, Nixuan remembered that Zhang Yuoquan had only cultivated to the mid-stage of the Black Realm, so he had no reason to fear him. No words could explain his hatred towards Zhang Yuoquan. He stepped forward and wanted to fight against Zhang Yuoquan so as to seek revenge and show everyone how powerful he was. Zhang Yuoquan glanced at Nixuan and said, "You're way too weak to be my opponent. You will definitely lose if you fight with me." Nixuan sneered. "I was too careless last time and hence I lost. If I fight with you with my full power, I'll be powerful enough to defeat you." Zhang Yuoquan knew that the real powers that Nixuan mentioned were the animal spirits fixing beasts and the animal spirits fixing arms. When reaching the dawn state, the animal spirits fixing beasts could be utilized. When reaching the medium state, the animal spirits fixing arms could be used. Zhang Yuoquan responded lightly. "I can give you a chance to take revenge." "What if you still lose?" Nixuan exclaimed. "I swear to the Holy Queen of Majesty and Morality, if I lose in your hand again, I will stop troubling you and Zhang Shaxu. I'll back off wherever you guys go." This oath still has a lot of weight. He swore to the Holy Queen of Majesty and Morality, and if he violated the swear, he would be seen as disrespectful to the Holy Queen. His family would be exterminated and his property would be confiscated. Who was the Holy Queen of Majesty and Morality? She was Empress Kai Yao, the head of the Kunlun's field. Hearing Nixuan's swear, Zhang Yuoquan responded, "Keep your words. Come on, let's fight." Nixuan wasn't a fool. He wouldn't do things without a purpose. The reason why he insisted to fight with Zhang Yuoquan was that he wanted to test Zhang Yuoquan's ability to help Feng Zilin so that when Feng Zilin fought with him, he knew what he would expect. If Zhang Yuoquan appeared to be powerful, Feng Zilin would have to stop underestimating him and use all his efforts in his fight tomorrow. Zhang Yuoquan didn't think too much. Neither Nixuan nor Feng Zilin were important to him. They weren't worth spending too much time on. Animal spirits fixing beasts. The spiritual blood surged out from the expanded pores of Nixuan's body, an illusory image of a 7-meter-long python appearing behind his back. Although the illusory image was thin, the shape of the python was clearly visible. A wisp of spiritual blood poured towards Zhang Yuoquan like a savage beast. Nixuan's fingers turned golden. He gathered the power of his entire body and pointed at Zhang Yuoquan's glabella. The students standing aside noticed that when Nixuan pointed out his finger, the illusory image of the python on his back had also dashed out at the same time. The 2 strands of power composited together. Zhang Yuoquan also stretched out a finger. He manifested the pure jade genuine chi to his fingertip and his finger became jade white. He pointed out the finger, where a strand of sword breath streaked out from it. It was as if a white sword shadow had smacked on Nixuan's fingertip. The 2 forces from the fingertips smashed together like a pin against an awl. Boom! The illusory image of the python was shattered and turned into strands of spiritual blood. Nixuan quickly stepped back. His finger was wounded by the sword breath and was bleeding. The skill Zhang Yuoquan just displayed was not a martial technique, but a random point. After reaching the peak of the sword following the mind, he was able to release a powerful sword wave with a random point. This is powerful. Nixuan was shocked and whispered to himself. Nixuan couldn't believe that the cultivation of Zhang Yuoquan had greatly increased compared to 1 month ago. Animal spirits fixing arms. Nixuan decided to demonstrate his most powerful move. If he still couldn't defeat Zhang Yuoquan, he would give in. The spiritual blood of his body kept converging on his head. It transformed into a 3-meter-long blood sword. The sword tip was pointing downward and started spinning. Bang! When he pointed out his finger, the illusory image of the blood sword broke out a crashing sound and unleashed towards Zhang Yuochen. Zhang Yuochen would not free him as he had humiliated Zhang Shaxu over and over again. He took the initiative to attack Nixuan this time. He moved half a meter to his right and escaped the blood sword. A burr of a human shadow flashed. Zhang Yuochen struck out a palm on Nixuan's chest before he could respond. Bang! Nixuan felt that Zhang Yuochen's palm weighed 10,000 pounds. His rib cage was almost broken, and his 5 internal organs seemed like they had exploded. He lost control of his own body and flew out. Puffed. Nixuan was sent flying in the air. He coughed and spat out a mouthful of blood. His body bumped into the dormitory door where the hole was as big as a person. He fell from the 2nd floor to the stone mound on the 1st floor. Boom. He was seriously injured and fainted inside the stone mound. Zhang Yuochen retreated his palms. He flipped his sleeves slightly and stared at the warriors of Square Commandery. Who still wants to fight with me? Being a warrior who had cultivated till the medium state of the Black Realm, Nixuan still lost the fight to Zhang Yuochen. How would the other students dare to fight against him? Zhang Shaxu could not believe how powerful Zhang Yuochen was. He was not scared of the students of Square Commandery anymore. He walked towards Zhang Yuochen with his big tummy and said, "My 9th brother, you have to seek revenge for me. Wang Lang and King Haitian always bullied me before you came to Western Campus. Not only did they snatch all my cultivation resources, they also took off all my clothes to humiliate me in front of everyone in Western Campus." While Zhang Shaxu was complaining, he pointed at the 2 students and exclaimed angrily. Before the appearance of Zhang Yuochen, he wouldn't dare to speak out on how frustrated he felt. He didn't even dare to tell the presbyter of the school. However, it's a completely different story now. Since his 9th brother was so powerful, no one would dare to bully or humiliate Zhang Shaxu anymore. He would be safe in Western Campus. With the protection of Zhang Yuochen, Zhang Shaxu had the guts to speak out. Zhang Yuochen gasped in his heart. It seems like his 4th brother had suffered a lot in Western Campus. Otherwise, how would such a superior prince become so timid? Yes, he was timid. Zhang Yuochen could completely feel the fear and timidness in Zhang Shaxu's heart. He found a need to build up his 4th brother's confidence. Zhang Yuochen stared at Wang Lang and King Haitian and said, "Wang Lang, King Haitian, you two have forgotten we are the royal family of Yunwu Commandery, haven't you? Do you think you can get away from my revenge after humiliating my 4th brother?" Both Wang Lang and King Haitian were classified as martial arts masters who had reached the medium state of the Black Realm. Although Zhang Yuochen had just defeated Nixuan, they weren't afraid at all. Wang Lang's had thick eyebrows and his eyes looked as sharp as a sword. He said coldly, "Zhang Yuochen, why are you so pleased with yourself? Do you think you can stay alive until tomorrow?" No matter how powerful Zhang Yuochen was, no one believed that he could take down Feng Zilin. Zhang Yuochen smiled and said, "Doesn't matter what the result is tomorrow, at least I get to teach you both how to show respect to people." Wang Lang glanced at King Haitian and they both nodded at the same time. Animal spirits fixing arms. Wang Lang and King Haitian both displayed their strongest techniques. They activated the power of their spiritual blood and condensed the illusory image of a martial art arm above their heads. Fighting against Zhang Yuochen, they didn't dare to underestimate him. The illusory images that appeared above Wang Lang's and King Haitian's head were a machete and a short halberd respectively. They attacked Zhang Yuochen from both sides at the same time. Wang Lang activated his genuine chi and swayed the illusory image of the machete towards Zhang Yuochen's head. Wisps of spiritual blood shuttled around the machete shadow, and let out the roaring sound of a wind. King Haitian clapped his hand. The illusory image of the short halberd above his head turned into a bloody light beam and dashed towards Zhang Yuochen's chest. Then, Zhang Yuochen separated his body into 2 parts which dashed towards Wang Lang and King Haitian at the same time. Everyone was shocked. Boom, boom. Both the blood sword phantom and the blood halberd illusion were shattered at the same time. Wang Lang and King Haitian were sent flying. They fell heavily from the 2nd floor to the ground, with broken and bleeding heads. There were a large number of students gathered outside the dormitory. They were just onlookers and most of them were female students. The crowd wasn't surprised when they saw Nixuan fall from the second floor. They knew that Nixuan had one arm broken and ability must have decreased. The fact that he was beaten by Zhang Yuochen was nothing to be surprised about. Yet, when Zhang Yuochen sent Wang Lang and King Haitian flying, the crowd was absolutely shocked. Zhang Yuochen is just a freshman, how is he so powerful? A 20-year-old woman who was wearing a white robe looked at the second floor, wondering how Zhang Yuochen looked like. It was very rare for a freshman to obtain such powers to defeat two martial arts masters at the same time. Nixuan, Wang Lang, and King Haitian are all warriors at the medium state of the Black Realm. Zhang Yuochen has indeed caught me by surprise by defeating them all. This is terrific. If it is true that Zhang Yuochen is so powerful, it will definitely be a good matchup on the life and death platform tomorrow. Come look, Zhang Yuochen is coming out from the dormitory. The female students screamed in order to welcome Zhang Yuochen. Their beautiful eyes had all focused on Zhang Yuochen who was standing on the second floor. Wow, he's such a young warrior. I guess he's not even 20. The number one freshman surely has a different charisma. If he can defeat Feng Xilin tomorrow, I'll woo him. I mean it. It'll be nice being the wife of a prince, haha. A pretty female student, who had reached the completion of the Black Realm, expressed her feeling towards Zhang Yuochen. She blinked her eyes and examined him from head to toe. Zhang Yuochen jumped from the second floor to the ground as light as a leaf. He stared at Wang Lang and King Haitian who were lying on the ground with wounds and said furiously, "You guys took off all my fourth brother's clothes and humiliated him on Western Campus. Now, take off all your clothes and run 3 laps around Western Campus. I'll then consider to free you both." Wang Lang and King Haitian stared at Zhang Yuochen in fear. The level of Zhang Yuochen's power and ability was completely out of their expectation. With his cultivation, he could probably be able to confront Feng Xilin. "Zhang Yuochen, you've already beaten us up, don't go too far." Wang Lang bit his teeth said brutally. At the same time, Liu Chengfeng squeezed out from the crowd and kicked on Wang Lang's chest, making him spit a mouthful of blood. He groaned. "Who went too far? How dare you criticize our 9th prince for bullying you? When you guys decided to bully the students of Yanwu Commandery, did you yourselves the same question?" Slap. Liu Chengfeng had fully demonstrated the character of an evil juvenile. He slapped King Haitian's face and half of his face was swollen. He continued, "Yes, I'm going to bully you today, only you. So what? Come over here, the 4th prince, Puo, and Situ. Beat these two jerks as hard as you can. They don't know how to respect people without having some punches." Liu Chengfeng acted arrogantly and waved his hands towards some of the students of Yanwu Commandery among the crowd. He signaled them to come over and beat up Wang Lang and King Haitian. Anyhow, he wasn't afraid that they would fight back as long as Zhang Yuochen was backing him up.